just enjoying private practice and did a lot of NIMH research and just learning about teen brain and kids brain and doing more research and just learning more and more about brain and have a nonprofit and done a lot of got a bad gene from my father to do free work and mission work and charitable work. So 60 to 70% of my practice has been free, and created a nonprofit called WOW, Wise Outstanding Wizard. And mission of my life has been, if we can create a generation of wise outstanding wizards, and if I could teach everybody, if we can learn or teach young generation two things, if they can learn about brain and body, the body we live in and the body we live on, then it will really change their lives. So learning about brain and body and finances, our generation will be really independent. So that has been my mission and passion.
So you have been active socially as well. And you have been a media person as well.
I've been on Pakistan television, NTM, BBC, done some reports for CNN. Media in US has been very aggressive. So I've done television for about 20, 25 years and really wanted to stay in research world. Got many awards in US. Very, very honored to be the best foreign physician in US, and just enjoyed the humility of staying away from camera. Learned that the main power stays. I love Jilani, Azad Park Jilani, and he said something that human higher self comes from, if the three major struggles human being go through before you enter higher self is the power of money, which majority of people get drowned in, and then the second one, nature or God test you, is the power of fame and the power of the filter of money and the filter of fame and the filter of power.
What, in your experience, is the best way forward for the young generation, which is bombarded with internet information, half-information, truths, half-truths, and at the same time we witness a lot of violence going on in the Middle East and then crises in Europe as well? What should be the way out?
Oh God. First of all, being a teenage and child psychiatrist and learning about their brain, which does not really develop till 23, I'm always telling parents that if we expect teens to make right decisions, we are delusional, because every company has a CEO, and brain has a CEO called prefrontal cortex. So its CEO is the chief executive officer. The brain CEO is prefrontal cortex, and it does not mature till 23. So cognition, execution, and organization is the part of brain which actually matures by 23. But this whole society by 18, throughout the kids, when they don't have financial maturity, they don't have emotional maturity. So a lot of problems you see are due to that. And being a teen, your neurons do not, the brain actually creates like a tree, and the tree is branching, called synaptogenesis. And these kids and teens have a very hard time because they don't have an identity. They are learning till 23 because they are thinking as they're going. They don't know what they're going to think. They don't know what they're going to feel next minute. So guiding and supervision, which they don't usually get. So it's a very hard time if you get in their head. In this country, teens, and all over the world now, teens are going through this volcanic eruption and just stigmatizing one group that these are terrorists. So if I sit with, because I have all my international friends, and we discuss that all as physicians, that if you don't channelize, teen energies are like ocean energies. So when you look at river, you always put a dam for the river so they can actually fertilize the land. And if you don't, then they can flood it. You know, if it's like fire, everything has duality. We use the fire, otherwise it becomes a forest fire. So water, duality. So teens' energies are remarkable, but if we don't know how to channelize them. So if you talk about a teen who becomes a suicide bomber, in those countries. But then you look at teens here, they're going through the same volcanic eruption leading to college shootouts. So you have Oklahoma bombers. So it hasn't been a present problem. It's always been a teen problem. Mental health issues. So if you look at Oklahoma, Columbine bombing, it's not a recent issue. So if you look at 100 monkey phenomena, I hope you've read about 100 monkey phenomena. So if an invention comes, we were talking about it, it happens at 3 or 4 different zones in the world. One invention is being done at 3. If violence erupts, it always erupts at different parts of the world. So there is a mechanism. If something is happening, it's happening at 3 different or 4 different parts of the world. So our teens, especially when so much political chaos is happening, teens are very susceptible to that. They pick on it because they're very sensitive. And then teen have everything in teen is mass hysteria, whether it's iPhone 6, whether it's music. So their herd mentality, whatever one does, teen go for it. If it's Taylor Swift or one music, teen follow. So if they have any positive thing, they'll follow. If it's a negative thing, they will follow.
So what is the right kind of balance and the harmony from cultures, from economic goals, from happenings around them? What kind of smooth things can society, parents, teachers provide them?
Difficult question, but it could have an easy answer. How do we provide something which is a combination? But we have not been able to provide a system because it's always such a dichotomy between East and West. These kids live in West where they spend about 8 to 10 hours in one system, and when they come home for 2 or 3 hours, they spend time at home 3 or 4 hours. So we have to have smooth fusion of cultures. But every time you talk about East and West, so West is remarkable. I mean, our teachers are remarkable. You talk about technology, science, genetics, stem cell. So every time when people in East are very sick, they will be in West for the treatment on the first flight, but West is bad. So that you can't have hypocrisy. So we can take the best of West, and East is remarkable. So we can have the best of best and combination.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. And have the best fusion, like music, right? But nobody talks about that. I think media has to do such a big role. And all I see is the role of media still stays negative. If there is one negative news, you will see the coverage of it so much. How much coverage do we see on positivity? I actually don't watch television anymore. I hardly read newspapers because of that. So if we talk more about it, if we talk about any positive coverage more and more and more, how much do we cover positive things?
What can the kids do, and how can we help them, imbue and absorb them, these values?
I usually hear from my friends, my Eastern friends, that West doesn't have values. And I really get surprised about it. I have American godparents who adopted me spiritually. I have a Jew mother. I have 9 godparents in different religions. And it's amazing that if you get to know each culture and how much, and if you meet a person of value in each culture and religion, and if they really are the people of that culture, how much values they have. Each culture has remarkable values, and each religion has remarkable values. So when I got to know each godparent and their religion and their values, it was fascinating. And when I did comparative religion study, remarkable. And Islam has, we can't even become Muslims till we believe in those books. So being a Qari in childhood, I read all the books, and then I did so how dare that we pass judgment on different religions? So every godmother, my Jew mother tried to convert me into Jew. My Christian mother would take me to church and say, I'm so worried that you won't go to heaven. So I kept on telling them, and they gave up, and then they accepted me who I am. So they never knew that we believe in their Jesus. They didn't know that. And then I would say, Mary, they said, our Mary? And I said, no, she's our Mary. So they had no concept. So unless we come out of our herd and we get together. Bin Qasim did not try to convert, he lived Islam. So the regions I have lived, I have never told anybody I'm Muslim. So you don't have to tell people, you don't have to fight battles. So when you accept and you share your values and you share your art, they share their, and that's the fusion. You have to, that's what the world is about. Share and learn, and share and learn.
So this world needs a fusion.
It needs fusion of art and music and culture and food and everything.
So, I mean, what I understand from your emphasis on this point is the American Muslims and Muslims generally outside the United States, they have to step up.
They're like
and
this.
They have to. Yeah.
I mean, we go, I see all my friends, we go and work and we come home and we're herds. We just meet and we cook, and wherever we go, we find our own food. We don't incorporate, we don't bring them in. We have to incorporate, we have to cook their food, we have to go and meet in their Thanksgiving, we have to bring them in our Eids, acculturate, so they know who we are.
So it's a two-way assimilation.
Assimilation. You have to absorb and assimilate. So they have to know who we are. We have to know who they are.
And just last week there was a recent study. It said that patients who listen to music, their favorite musical items or hits, songs, or just instruments, they not only recovered from their physical wounds quickly, much better, but also, we understand, we know it from a long time that music is the food of soul. So, I mean, music, the Eastern culture, for example, like our Pakistani, we have a rich history of music, arts, and similarly in the West is, it's speaking at this time. So, what role arts like music can play in bringing together two communities?
World is music. I mean, waterfall, birds, everything is word. Heartbeat. Are we not musical? Look at your heartbeat. God has not created anything which is not musical. So, who says everything is rhythmic? Big Bang is musical. So if anybody says music is not allowed in this and that, they don't understand. I've done music therapy. I've researched music. Every disease is healed by music.
And Prophet
Daud, Peter Guy Manners. Music therapy is that we have treatment for every disease in music therapy. We might do a whole show on music therapy. Right. It's my research. So beautiful, and music is another way of sharing and getting to know each cultures. And I just heard A.R. Rahman, a new song. He's done a fusion music with the Indian and some kind of Arab song together. It was a new song, beautiful.
People in their own respective areas of expertise, they play an important role in bridging the gap between cultures and in bringing diverse people together.
Yes. I think once you know and you've been in front of camera, you don't want to, because you really know that the service has nothing to do with fame, because the most important thing is that the job has to be done, and the part they are really playing to transform the society and the world, they don't need that exposure. So amazing in every field, from medicine to IT to, I have the list of about 100 Pakistanis who are just outstanding. Diamonds in every area.
Right. In this age when there is an onslaught of information, and both science and arts are having impact on people, and all the bad things going on also, like violence, addictions, and gun violence, and extremism, terrorism, they also impact the younger generation. What is your what should be the best way forward for the younger people?
I think so much information.
And what can we give them?
Yes, that is really hard because information flood is just coming, sensory bombarding information. What kind of information? Where are they getting? And it's so hard to filter them, cocoon them, especially when they're trying to, individuate from you. And especially they don't want information from parents and family members. Guiding and having them role model, giving them good company. So finding good company and finding them good role models. Whether if they don't get direct role models, finding them role models. Even on Facebook, we need to have platforms and good TV shows for outstanding Pakistanis, and platforms for different. If they need IT role models, we should have list of IT role models, and every community does that. So national role models, statewide role models. So kids can, if they're looking for IT role models in every state, they should have a list. So as community, we have not been able to do that. I really want to do that. So a national role model list of physicians, IT role models, so they can just reach them out someday. We don't have any system like that, platforms.
There must be some outlets, some areas where they can have creative expressions. I mean, it has to be both science and arts together.
As a community, we are very rich, but when I look at Maslow's hierarchies, basic survival, then ego toys, then higher self. So we went through all the ones who came to US, we've gone through basic, and we are still in ego toys. When you look at Pakistani, big houses, big cars, big weddings. But how long are we going to stuck in that ego toys? We should be able to get through that, right? We should be entered the third phase, but I don't see us coming out of that ego toys. So,
Dr. Haroon, you have so much to say, so much to tell us, so much to illustrate for us. Are you planning to write a book?
Oh gosh, I'm still learning, man. I still have, I'm at a very humble stage. I have such amazing teachers. Pakistanis I have met have so much to teach, and so I hope our community, we can get some good role models, so our generation doesn't imitate being stuck in the second hierarchy. So our generation, when they get to see some good people, we can get them out of that and grow them towards third stage.
So there are a lot of Pakistanis who are contributing tremendously to America's development.
Remarkable. Not only to US, they're taking the technology. I have met who is the head of one of the technology. He just takes it to India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. And I can't tell you what I've seen, the contribution. So I'm not disappointed from a community. But majority of us are still stuck in ego toys. I want to shake them and say, how long is there going to be the big wedding? For how long? I want to stop. So I think we'll be able to, this young generation might break that pattern. So
thank you, Dr. Haroon.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting.